In a busy city, there was a large company called Bright Future Solutions. Many people worked there. Some were managers, some were office workers, and some delivered packages. One of the delivery boys was a young man named David. David was 28 years old.
He wore simple clothes.
He rode an old motorcycle. Every day, he delivered packages to different offices. People often looked at him and thought he was poor. Some employees were kind to him, but others were not. One morning, David arrived at the company building with several packages. As he entered, two employees started laughing. "Look at his clothes," one of them whispered. "He wears the same jacket every day," said the other. David heard them, but he said nothing. He simply smiled and continued his work. David was used to such comments. This was not the first time people judged him. Later that day, he entered the cafeteria. The room was crowded. Most employees sat with their friends. David quietly sat alone at a corner table. A manager named Kevin noticed him. Kevin was known for being arrogant. He walked over to David. "Why do you always sit alone?" Kevin asked with a smirk. David smiled. "I enjoy peace and quiet." Kevin laughed. "Or maybe nobody wants to sit with you." Several employees laughed. David remained calm. He finished his meal and returned to work. Weeks passed. The same thing happened again and again. People mocked David because of his appearance. Nobody knew much about him. Nobody asked about his life. They simply assumed he was poor and unsuccessful. But David never complained. Every morning, he arrived on time. Every task was completed perfectly. He treated everyone with respect, even those who treated him badly. One rainy evening, an elderly security guard slipped near the entrance. Many employees walked past him. Nobody stopped. David immediately ran to help. He lifted the guard and helped him sit safely. Then he took him to a nearby clinic. The security guard thanked him. "You have a good heart," he said. David smiled. "My father taught me to help people whenever I can." The old man nodded. "Your father raised you well." David looked thoughtful.
Yes.
He was a great man. A few days later, the company announced an important meeting. Everyone was excited. Rumors spread throughout the office. People said a new owner might visit. Others said a major business deal was coming. Nobody knew the truth. On the day of the meeting, all employees gathered in the conference hall. Managers wore expensive suits. Employees sat quietly, waiting. Kevin sat in the front row. He looked confident. Suddenly, the CEO entered. Everyone stood up. The CEO smiled. "Good morning, everyone." The employees greeted him. Then the CEO continued. "Today is a very special day." The room became silent. "Our company is getting a new chairman." People looked at each other in surprise. The CEO smiled again. "I would like to introduce him." Everyone turned toward the entrance. The door opened. A man walked inside. People stared in shock. It was David, the delivery boy. The room became completely silent. Nobody could believe it. Kevin's face turned pale. Several employees looked at each other in confusion. David calmly walked to the stage. The CEO shook his hand. Then the CEO spoke. "Many of you know David as a delivery worker." The employees listened carefully, but very few know the truth. The CEO paused. "David is the son of the company's founder." Gasps filled the room. People were shocked. The CEO continued. "After his father passed away, David inherited a large share of the company. Everyone stared at David, but instead of becoming chairman immediately, he wanted to understand the company from the ground level. The room remained silent. So for 2 years, David worked as a delivery employee. People could hardly believe what they were hearing. The CEO smiled. He wanted to learn how employees treated each other. David stepped forward. He looked at the crowd. I learned many things, he said calmly. I met hardworking people. I met honest people. And I met people who judged others based on appearance. Nobody spoke. Some employees lowered their heads. David continued. My father always told me something important.
He paused.
Respect should not depend on money, position, or clothing. The room remained silent. Every person deserves kindness. Several employees felt ashamed.
Kevin could not even look at David.
David looked around the room. I do not hate anyone. I am not here for revenge. I am here to build a better workplace. The employees listened carefully. From today, respect, honesty, and kindness will be the values of this company. Many people began clapping. Soon the entire hall was filled with applause. After the meeting ended, employees approached David. Some apologized for their behavior. Others thanked him for his lesson. Finally, Kevin walked toward him. He looked embarrassed. I am sorry, Kevin said quietly. I judged you without knowing who you were. David smiled. Everyone makes mistakes. Kevin nodded. Thank you for forgiving me. Months passed. The company changed dramatically. Employees treated one another with more respect. The workplace became friendlier. And David became one of the most loved leaders in the company. People admired him not because he was rich, not because he was the chairman, but because he was kind, because he remained humble, and because he never forgot the value of respect.